Hey everybody, on this episode of the Designated Survivor After Show, we're dealing with Season 1, Episode 7, The Traitor. Watch as 4 people's patience is tested throughout this episode. Let's do it.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
There is no easy way out.
Look at that. We'll never escape the Designated Survivor show. It's got a hold in us.
And the anger in the music, I feel, really, accentuates what we're doing and what we're feeling.
Well, everybody, the Designated Survivor show After Show here on AfterBuzz TV. We'll break it down Season 1, Episode 7. Right here tonight in front of your very eyes. We've got the full panel back.
We are back. Back in action.
Look at this.
And a lot of people in the live chat.
Oh, look at that. Michael Clouse decided to come and join us for once. Look at that. But I'm one of your hosts, Frank Moran. You can follow me on Twitter at HappyGoJackie.
What's up, guys? I'm your host, Christine Alexis. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at ChristineBean with 3 E's.
What is up, everyone? Good to be back. You can follow me on Twitter at Michael Clouse TV, on Instagram at TheOnlyMC.
Hey guys, I'm Renee Ariel. You can follow me on Instagram and on Twitter at Renee Ariel, and check out my blog, catslipstickla.com, and read my new article, Why I'm Single.
There you go. And make sure you hook up with Renee so you guys can play Game Pigeon, because she's all about the Game Pigeon.
Please play Game Pigeon with me.
Yeah, well, great.
I can only say one other thing, that this episode made me so mad, and there's only one thing, I think, that can really make me feel better after watching this episode.
What is that?
Oreos?
Yes!
No!
I forgot.
The Mega Stuffed Oreos, right?
Come on.
Jeez Louise. Oh,
Don't worry, I got you stupid regular ones too. I'm a man of my word.
Wait, Michael. I'm sorry. Just for all the viewers and listeners, why did you get me these? Who was right? Who lost?
Oh man,
I forgot.
people
What were we?
I'll compare it to the Electoral College and the popular vote. The popular vote.
I'm pretty sure.
Was that
pretty
too
sure.
soon? Oh,
I'm
okay,
sorry.
that was too soon.
Let's just
All
break
right.
it down.
Electoral
I
College,
won because
popular vote. Electoral College,
Oreos.
popular vote.
OG Oreos are the best Oreos. Michael thought he was right, and the double stuff was better, but he was wrong, and so he bought me these Oreos because
You know
I was
what?
right
This
and
is
he
just
lost.
more mega stuff for me to.
It's okay that you lost. That's
you
fine.
can't have too
Being a
much
loser,
stuff
it's
in
cool.
Oreos.
There is,
That's
yeah.
an unwritten rule.
That's too much
Cool.
stuff. That's too much stuff.
No,
It's fine
man.
losing. It's okay
You know
to
what?
lose.
How do we easy?
Actually, the only way
Easy
it would be
pull
cool.
tab. Where is this thing?
Oh,
Here it
not
is.
that easy.
Guys,
Well, it's
look
like
at
hidden. You're not even gonna open yours up.
You gotta see
No, I don't
the
have
stuff.
Do you not read
ratio.
Milk's favorite cookie? Where's Milk?
I'm sorry. I should have brought some milk.
You cannot
Look
say
at
that
this.
Designated Survivor After Show is just
Ew!
not
The
scintillating.
The perfect amount of
disgusting.
stuff. You know what? This is.
That is terrible.
Go for it.
This is not even enough
my
stuff.
Oh,
You see
God.
this here?
No.
Michael,
What
Oh,
are you doing?
are
look
you
at this.
serious?
This is the right amount of stuff for an Oreo. 2 mega stuffs.
Ew! That's so gross.
All right, Michael, you can go now. That's fine.
Yes, all right.
This is a family show. We don't need that sort of smut on the air.
Oh my God.
All right. Well,
Disgusting.
folks, this is a great time to tell you about how to reach us on social media. Why don't you like us on Facebook? Give us those 5 stars on iTunes. Just give us those 5 stars just for seeing Michael Clouse stuff his face full of mega stuff there. You can
Anybody
also
else want the
subscribe to
mega
the YouTube channel. I'm hosting a show,
mega
Michael.
stuff?
I'm hosting a show right now. And you can also hop in the chat as well. Michael Clouse has got the chat up and running. You guys feel free to chime in real time. How much of a clown you think Michael Clouse is right now for eating mega stuff right there on the air?
Let's see. We got a couple comments here.
Oh, great.
Ivan says that OG are better.
Yes, thank you.
Ariadne, I'm probably
What
botching your name. She says that she loves mega stuff. So
Oh.
you
We're
and me,
so sorry.
same page.
Oh, wow.
Wait,
All
what,
right.
Frank? What are you? Team OG or Team
I'll go with
Mega
OG.
Disgusting?
Mega. Are
Oh,
you? How
I'm
about
so
the double
happy.
stuff? Because obviously I didn't bring the double
Oh.
stuff. The quiz was double stuff versus OG, and people went for the OG versus double stuff. But man, like I said, you can't have enough stuff. So
No,
the mega stuff.
I think you're all
times 2.
alone there, Michael.
Yeah, because it feels like
No,
something like with
man.
cake
That's
or
okay.
cupcakes. I don't like a lot. I
a
don't like
lone
a lot of
wolf.
icing. So, gotta have that better icing to icing to cake or cookie ratio. Anyway, guys, hey, welcome
have
to
it.
the Oreo cooking show here on AfterBuzz TV. That's what we're talking about today. No, we're breaking down Season 1, Episode 7, The Traitor.
I want to
at
see.
that.
I want to double these up. You have to take a bite.
No.
Just take a bite.
No. That's so gross.
All right. So, folks, as we're talking about this episode here, we start off with somebody that I didn't agree with some food as well. We've got Nassar, dead in a cell, poisoned by the very food he ate. So I don't know if that has any, watch out for those mega stuffs.
Have we talked about this in past episodes? Is there too much going on? Let's vote. 4 people, anyone on the live chat. Is there too much going on in the show? Too many subplots?
Yes.
Yes? Yes? Frank?
There's just too many ones I don't care for.
So that's a yes?
Yeah.
Yes.
I agree with Frank, but okay, here's the thing. I love to have a lot going on, but I love to completely understand and be able to, keep up with everything going on. With the storylines that they keep bringing up, it kind of bores me and I'm not interested, and I'd like to have more storylines, but maybe ones that engage the audience a little bit more, is all.
Yeah. Ariadne, by the way. Thank you very much. I'll know from now on.
Yeah, I have to agree with you, Renee. It's cool when there's a lot of different things happening, and then in the end they all tie together, and it's like, oh, okay, it made sense. But this show is just, they're struggling with timing. It's like some things are either drawn out too long, or some things are so quick, and you're like, what was the point of that, or it didn't have enough time to develop.
That's how I feel about Tyler.
Yeah,
We needed Tyler to have more time to develop on the show.
I think the premise of the show were how do you rebuild a government that's been decimated, I think is interesting, but then when we add in the family aspect of it and a conspiracy aspect, there's a lot of stuff that's going on and especially my least favorite part of it is the family aspect. That is stuff that I feel like could be just jettisoned, and there'd still be a lot of, you could still leave a conspiracy and rebuilding a government.
I was
think this could be
thinking
good
when they introduced the athletes going to Russia tonight, I was like, well, something's going to happen in Russia. They're not coming back.
yeah,
Well, I was thinking that because it's like that is the way the show is going.
yeah.
Anything that's brought up to Tom's attention at the beginning of the episode, is going to pay is going to come to, like last week it was like, hey, make sure you talk to this governor about the refugees, the Syrian refugees, and sure enough, that became a point of contention in the episode, and that was just mentioned as like a little one-off sentence at the beginning, and became a big point in the
Patterns.
There you go, Renee. Renee, I like Renee's will only respond to one word and throughout this entire episode, patterns. All right. But we find out that Hannah and Atwood, they're trying to figure out what happened to Nassar. And they figure, the only lead that we do have is Catalan. So we need to keep investigating that for sure. Because we need to, at least that's one lead, even if we don't have Nassar to give us any, as a living proof of this evidence here. And then we've got Tom, which I did like this. I don't know if anybody laughed, where he's comparing after 2001, the events are 9/11, the Yankees, the way they're able to kind of regalvanize the city and the country, and then he compares hey, and so I just wanted to wish everybody the best of these these athletes going to compete in Russia for the track and field.
I did appreciate that because it's so true when Bush threw out the first pitch at Yankee Stadium and got nailed it right down the middle. I mean that it's true. Sports tie people together. Obviously, we're coming off a huge political segment. Anytime there's a sporting event, people can get behind one another. Especially when you have a sports in a big city, like an American city that got
with
hit.
the Cubs. Well, I mean, they didn't get hit, but that brought everyone together behind them potentially winning. And
people ignored the politics for a little bit, and you were able to focus on, there's a game tonight. All right, me and my buddy are coming over. It doesn't matter what his political views are. It doesn't matter what mine are. We're all cheering for the same thing, and especially in a sports atmosphere in a city that got hit, like New York in 9/11 or Washington, D.C. here, you always root for those teams. You always root for the city and those teams are in.
Yeah, but I think there's a big difference between saying, hey, we're talking about the Wizards, or we're talking about the Redskins. Hey, we're talking about the U.S. track and field team going to Russia. Boring.
Just two
out
athletes.
Of nowhere.
And just two athletes, too.
Yeah,
some international random track and field competition. Am I just not privy to that?
I feel you. You're right.
It's interesting timing. Okay.
Yeah, I agree.
It was a very mediocre comparison between the Yankees and this track and field team, guys. Let's get excited about them. But we find that the head of the U.S. track and field team, Weston there, is basically, we see Tom fanboying out on him. Oh, you were so great.
Oh, in 92 when you won that race. Whew.
So we figure you're not going to spend that much time with somebody like Weston if he's not going to factor in later on in the episode. And we'll find out that he does in a little sense there. And then we also have.
Were you surprised by the? Obviously, we talked about the initial thing of.
I did like the twist.
Did you like Did you like the? It was almost 3 twists, right? They tried to throw in. They threw in the twist that he got captured.
Yes.
The second twist that he's a spy. The third twist that he's a double agent.
Yes.
Did you like all 3? Did you see? I mean, obviously, I saw the first one coming. I didn't see the Second two.
I didn't either.
No?
No, that was nice, especially like the last one with him being a double agent. I thought that was a good little twist on everything. Because usually so far it's been like Tom's back is put up against the wall, and he usually figures out a way to make it work. And it seems like, hey, it's going to follow that same pattern, this nice three-way trade they set up, and then we figure out that it doesn't quite work the way he intended.
Do you see it being the last mention of Brad Weston?
I think so. I don't think it was like that exciting of a character or that valuable that we're going to need to see him again. I bet you will see the Russian ambassador again before we see Weston.
I was going to say, I think there's still going to be ties between Russia on this show, just because if they're trying to parallel a lot of things that are happening in real life.
Yeah.
Russia's going to be a common thread throughout the season.
Yeah, and when Tom makes that point to like, hey, you caught me off guard this time, but that's not going to happen again.
Yeah.
But I don't think Weston in particular is going to come back.
No.
We haven't even seen the old general back.
I know, it's a shame. Where are you? Where are you?
Yeah.
Where
They
would
brought him up last episode, but obviously he wasn't.
Yes.
For like a set, yeah.
Yeah, they're more of a mention of the instance.
And how did you enjoy seeing Michael? You've been gone the past couple weeks.
I've been gone the past 3 weeks.
Yeah, 2
we didn't
episodes.
have 2 episodes because we didn't have a show 2 weeks ago. What did you say?
Have you been enjoying the series? I know we were catching up on it.
I was really, it's the same thing with this episode, and I wrote down the same things. Is that it was like, man, so much going on. Like, really, another thing? Because I think they brought up the birther thing last episode, right? I want to say they.
The last episode was his interrogation with all the governors.
Yeah, Liam, and now, the issue between Kirkman and his wife, that was brought up last episode, kind of dropped. And then, like, the dating a reporter, that whole subplot, relationship, like, kind of like, there's still debate. And I wasn't a huge 24 watcher. I know you were a big 24 watcher.
I was too.
You both of you were big. This is how 24 was, right? Lots of plots, lots going on, always something to keep you on the edge.
Along with the timer, like just going off every commercial break, it created like a sense of urgency.
But much like this show, there were those plot parts of 24 that every season there was a clunker in there. You're like, oh man, please let's get
fell off
past this.
to me like season 5, 4 and 5. It was bad.
Yeah, and that's why I feel they were obviously trying to maybe do the same thing with how much the success was, but I feel like this is a different show. This is more real. I feel like, and so you're still keeping, some of the non-fiction, not some of the fiction in there, although it's trying to be like a little more non-fiction.
What we also have here is that Alex and Tom, they have to excuse themselves from meeting with Weston because they've had a dinner engagement with Congressman McLeish and his wife. And this is a chance to let get to know you dinner before, as he's kind of just, saying, hey, this is somebody that I want as my VP candidate.
No.
Good answer. No. The thing I keep thinking with this, do you guys think she's in on it?
The wife?
The wife.
Yeah, I think she knows, but I think
so.
She's scared and doesn't. Because, okay, that whole scene where she was saying, when we were making fun of it, like, oh, I texted him because our daughter went missing or blah, blah, blah. That felt so like she made it up on the spot. Even though in this episode they did refer back to that, which I found odd, but I guess
Hannah Wells did when she was like talking.
No, Jason, they were trying to find the I guess where that could have connected. But I honestly think she made that up on the spot because she is involved, because she knows what's up, but I don't think maybe she's supportive of it. I think she may be scared of it. I don't know if she's in on it, though. I just think she's aware.
Yeah, I think she's better off, better doing cover stories here. I think she wasn't pressed to tell like some kind of factual statement about like some kind of her child being kidnapped or what happened about him that night. This is just like, hey, this is how we met, so it's easy to tell that.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, I don't have to worry about lying about this. I'm just telling you, the truth.
Ivan says no. Let's see. Andre says yes.
To what? That she knows?
So that she, asking, is she in on it? And Ariadne says no, right? She said no too.
Because we still don't know.
No, she said yes. She said most definitely.
Because we still don't know who told Hannah about Room 105. We haven't even talked about who might have told her that information. They haven't bothered to wonder, which I feel like is a key component to figure out who knows this information, who had this information on McLeish. Like, wouldn't they be interested in that? Wouldn't that lead to more further their investigation.
Or at least them touching base and giving her another piece of the puzzle or something like that.
Yeah.
That hasn't happened.
They
so far.
completely dropped that.
I think as we get closer to outing McLeish, I think we'll get to see whether or not his wife is really in on it. She's either going to blindly support him or just jump ship.
They're certainly, steering the ship in the way that everyone is noticing that he's in on it. And I'm almost surprised that they're not doing the same for her.
Yeah.
Now, I think that a part that got us all frustrated in here, so we'll talk about this for a moment, is so Hannah and Atwood talking about, everything going on with McLeish and Nasser. And Tom, once he finds out Nasser's been dead, he goes, like, get Atwood in here. I want to know what's going on. So we figure, like, all right, Hannah says, tell him everything. Tell him everything when you're in the room. And it looks like Atwood's going to tell him everything. And as he walks into the Oval Office, it pulls out to reveal that McLeish is in the room there as well. And of course, Tom says, well, hey, because he's been involved in committees with anti-terrorism, and I figured like it'd be okay for him to be here and listen to what you have to say. And Atwood just like, how do you say, like, President, I've got answers. What? McLeish is here. No, I have no answers. We're trying to figure out something. And he's kind of just try to backpedal out of something that he's already kind of made an illusion like, oh, I've got the answer. Oh, I can't tell you now.
But you still, I think we all agreed that you have to contact him somehow, though.
Yeah.
Their email, phone call.
But even with
smoke signals,
with Kirkman, like, how about reading people's body language? Like, how about understanding that Jason kept, even like with the eyes? How about just reading a situation for what it is? And if perhaps someone came in saying they had information and then sees McLeish and says, "Oh, I didn't expect you to be here," something not welcoming clearly. How about put two and two together and realize, oh, maybe he'll tell me information if it's one-on-one, rather than being like, oh, well, whatever, he's lying. Like,
yeah, that surprised me a bit because even though Tom was like not well prepared for the job of the presidency, one thing that shined through in his personality from the start was that he could tell, like, when he could read a room. At least I felt like he at least was intuitive of those kind of things. I was very surprised that he didn't like pick up on him, like giving him the eye signal.
I know.
And it's like weird that he didn't pick up on that, but then was so ready to trust McLeish being in the room. Like, whether or not he served on whatever committee that he said before, it's like there's still levels of clearance. Like, there's an ongoing FBI investigation. Like, why is this person here? Why does he need to hear? Why isn't his chief of staff there or someone else? Like, why was that even the case?
Ariadne brought up, I feel like this is dragging on too long. Agree, disagree? With McLeish still being around and them not notifying him?
They're going to make it play out within the next 2 weeks. I mean, before the winter finale. I feel like if they drag it past that, I'm just not going to watch anymore.
I wouldn't mind McLeish in general being dragged out. I just think it's ridiculous that this episode, Kirkman didn't find out. That blows my mind because there were too many opportunities for him to find out, and the fact that he didn't. This whole episode, like, you're in the Oh, we'll get to Jason later, I'm sure. But, like, it just pissed me off. Okay, you didn't want to.
You want some Oreos?
I don't want those. It'll make it worse.
Have an Oreo.
He didn't want to take McLeish off. Didn't want to make anyone think that he was on to McLeish. Whatever. So why on earth, when you're talking to him, would you make it so noticeable how suspicious you are of him? If you wanted to do that, why not then right in the Oval Office say, "Hey, actually, I just need to talk to you." Why would he be like, "Oh, I better be subtle about this"? And then the second McLeish comes to his office, he makes it so clear,
Especially since he told Hannah from when they started talking about it, like, tell no one should know about this. And then he's just like being very obvious to the wrong person, like to the person that they're talking about.
Yeah.
And when you know that McLeish is, I mean, somebody built a bunker for him to survive this detonation. So you figure, like, he's got a lot of connections. So why would you tip him off that you're suspicious so that he can go blab to everybody else, like, hey, guess what? Atwood's onto us. True. Like, oh, come on.
He's got to know, too. Like,
Jason? McLeish?
No, McLeish.
McLeish did know.
Oh, of course, yeah.
He knows.
I thought he stole the kid.
I mean, I would suspect myself if I was in that room having that conversation.
Sorry, maybe I was.
Jason.
Jason has to know that McLeish knows.
Oh, yes.
Jason knows?
Now.
Yes.
Well, McLeish knew that Jason knew when they were having that very obvious conversation.
Yes, but I don't know. Maybe just the way I guess he didn't get it from that meeting with the president that Jason knew that McLeish knew that Jason knew. It's
because of their tense exchange towards the end of that meeting in his office. I felt like when they stared each other down, I think that was like them acknowledging, like, okay, I know, you know.
In which case, why do you not take action right away?
Yeah, because I mean,
you have nothing to lose. You're not tipping cards. Everybody knows the cards.
Yeah.
But no, but that whole thing, it just should have been done in the Oval Office. It should have been made so clear in the Oval Office. That other meeting should never have happened. And if that other meeting was going to happen, you freaking play it off like you think McLeish is the best guy and whatever, and he's fine. You don't make it so obvious. Clearly, he's a dangerous guy. You're gonna like make it clear that you know that he's a terrorist.
Yeah.
Oh, good luck. Yeah. No wonder you're. I'm not going to say your kid got kidnapped, but like he's a bad guy. He's scary. You shouldn't mess with that.
No, I felt like for somebody, especially, I mean, he's the head of the deputy director of the FBI. He should know better than. I mean, come on, you got to be a little subtle around somebody you suspect as a potential suspect. Like, Play it cool. Play it cool.
It's either you play it cool or just put all the cards out. Because I felt like he could have also used that opportunity, like, well, this is what it is. You got something to say, but he didn't.
Yeah, because that's the only reason McLeish came to go check in is just to double check that Atwood was in on it. Because he suspected the moment that Atwood backpedaled in the Oval Office, McLeish was like, all right, he knows something. And I'm going to just go and pay a visit and see what happens.
No, I think that he was paying a visit just to see, not even what happens, but see, like, is he actually suspicious of me? I'm going to make sure everything's cool. Which is when Jason should have just been like, yeah, everything's cool. And then that's when he was like, I know you're not good, but we're going to do our own research. How about be like, hey, thank you so much. You just have to understand, like, we still need to do our job. I need to get our own thing. Like, I hope that's cool. We'll get back to you as soon as we can.
Yeah.
Not, you understand, we have to do our own research. Right? The hell are you doing, Jason?
Ivan says Atwood and McLeish both knew they were onto each other. Their scene was like two rhinos circling each other.
Two rhinos.
Interesting.
A comment read like that. Michael Clouse deserves another bite of that gross double mega stuff. Oh, yes.
Is that how you often eat them, or are you just doing that
I
now?
haven't had Oreos in a long time. It's the first time I've ever done this, and it's amazing. This is like when you make a s'more, and you bite in, and the marshmallow goes out. I mean, you gotta have 2 marshmallows on a s'more.
What?
Right?
No.
One
is fine.
How can you look at that and think that that's right? Like, how can you look at that and be like, yep, this I'm going to eat?
Where did this go left?
Yes, I know.
I
These Oreos have hijacked the designated survivor.
We're sponsored by Oreos today.
So the other big,
Nabisco.
right? Yeah.
the other big plotline we have this episode too is the question of, do we tell this reporter that we know that Leo may possibly not be Tom's biological son?
Another thing that's like, really?
Yeah, this again brings in the family side of it, which again, as I said, is the least interesting part of it. But we've got basically this gentleman, Jeffrey, who was involved with Alex before she and Tom got together, could potentially be Leo's father. Nobody knows for sure.
He is his father. Come on. Do you see the chin, the hair? Like, I think I said this in the first 2 episodes. I'm like, what's up with the casting?
What is Christine's #1 complaint about this?
I swear, I'm like,
It's true.
he doesn't look like them. Like, he hates him. He's never around. Like, Leo is not. There was something weird about it, and it just played out this way. But
all right,
it's
so
annoying.
I mentioned at the top of the
with.
episode, kind of 3 different focuses for the show. We've got the rebuilding of government, we've got the conspiracy, and we've got the family side. If you had to keep 2 of those 3, which one would you jettison?
Wait, so sorry, what is it?
Rebuilding the government.
We've got rebuilding the government, the conspiracy, and then the family.
The conspiracy.
Conspiracy, you mean like
Conspiracy about everything that's going
McLeish?
on. Yeah, just whatever
McLeish? I like hearing
Yeah,
about
obviously
McLeish.
you keep McLeish in the government.
Yeah.
I mean, the personal stuff, it's too. I mean, literally. Okay, let's go down. I'm actually gonna do this right now. Okay, total plots, whether it's subplots, regular plots. Let's see what we got here. You obviously have got Bomb Nassar. Okay.
Yes.
You got that whole thing. Family with wife and Leo. You have McLeish. That's included in the Bomb Nassar.
Yeah.
And then there's the plot that's of like every individual episode. They usually have like some kind of
You have the
problem.
Russian situation.
But it
You have the general trying to overthrow. You have the governors.
Okay, but those are the storylines for each episode. Those are like
Yeah,
the
but is
one
it still
problem resolution. Because I could say the same thing. Okay, for instance, the show Notorious,
Yeah.
which is also on ABC. They have like an overall case that they're trying to solve, and then each episode is like a different mystery to solve, and
Yeah.
and that I like. I don't add them up every episode, and I know it can feel that. It can definitely feel like some of the storylines that they have per episode are just building up, but I think a lot of the time it's just per episode. I just think it gets tricky for us to figure that out because it could still connect to future episodes somehow.
No, but you also have all of these that we haven't even touched yet are all the relationships.
That's what I was gonna say.
Aaron and Emily. You have Wright and the reporter.
Lisa, I think.
Yeah,
it is.
you have who's the other main relationship? Hannah and whoever.
But is
but I think
Aaron
none of
and
those are-
Emily really a storyline right now, or is it just a dynamic?
It's a
It could come up at any time.
That's
It's something
the
that you
thing.
always have to keep in the back of your mind and
There's
think
a
about.
difference between like character development and bringing up certain little mini story arcs so that we can get to know these characters every episode, and just like
There's still the
filler things
There's
that
still
are
the
just
relationship
not
tonight.
connecting.
They're talking about sports, making a joke, being able to be more personable around each other. That's a relationship.
Yeah,
Her
and I'm
making-
fine with that.
Her making the little sarcastic jest. I mean, I'm saying like that. We have so many different plots.
I think it's just
like,
too many per episode.
Yeah.
If this episode we're gonna focus on our main story arc and maybe these 2 sub ones, and then the next one do 2 other sub ones. I can't have like 5 different things happening under the main story arc that I'm supposed to remember. Like
Yes.
it's just a lot. I mean, I don't know.
And it's almost making me care less.
Yeah.
I think is the biggest thing.
Because I know it'll be fleeting.
Yeah.
By the end of the episode, it's like, okay, this one could stick around, this one couldn't. I don't really know if I should care about this character or not. It's not. I don't know how to connect with the characters as much. So.
Well, I feel like this show has such an interesting premise that when you're doing the tease for next week as episode and in 2 weeks and leading up to the winter finale, and the big gist of that whole tease was finding out who the true father of Leo is. I feel like that's a failure of the show because that is
Yeah.
the least interesting thing.
Yeah.
You've got so many other things happening, and like that's the main thrust
And
of
that's
that
not
promo.
even the family with the wife and Leo. That's actually like 3 plots because you have the Leo in the drug situation. You never know what could happen with that. You got Leo and the father. You got the issues that they're bringing up that make it seem like Kirkman and his wife are having disagreements.
I think
All those
that
are like, man.
Leo's like potential biological father, like asking to be pardoned and like released on early parole. I think like if he eventually does talk to the reporter or it comes out somehow, that could somehow make Kirkman look bad, and then it exposes everything, and that could be another subplot. Like, is he using the presidency to cover up his own family mess? Could be another headline. You know, like
Yeah.
they're gonna like go somewhere with it. It's just too much.
Too much drama.
And it's interesting. I mean, this is the first time we've really seen Leo for any extent of time for many episodes.
Forgot what he
Yeah.
looked
Yeah,
like.
basically after that episode where he let his sister watch some of the TV on that, and then he was scolded, and then he went back to the old house and just sat there until Tom collected him or whatever, or Alex collected him, and they came when they had their family dinner. That was it. But since then, I feel like now that we've seen Leo, it's like, where's that? Like, it's almost like a subtle character change because he's not like that angsty kind of guy. Now he's like all happy to see Dad. I'm just
Yeah.
there
What's
with
up,
my headphones
Dad?
on. Yeah, I'm like,
Oh,
I feel like he's
going
almost
on?
always on
I
his
love you
headphones.
too. Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna go back to listen to my music.
I was hoping that the show would kind of course corrected. Realized like, you know what? I think the Leo stuff is unnecessary for this
That's
show.
what I thought they were doing as well, and I appreciate
No.
that. The only like family drama or family storyline I'm interested in seeing more of is just the change in his relationship with his wife. Like I am
Yeah.
interested in seeing how being the president can affect his relationship and how over time that could really mess them up. Whatever they may be fighting. That to me is interesting. Seeing how that affects them. I don't care about the kids. I don't care about Leo's dad. I don't care about Leo. If Leo wants to go live with his go for it. Go live with your new dad. Leave the White House. We don't care. but really, that's the only character I really care about in his family is Alex. Like, you can leave the kids out of it.
I think a situation too is that it's not just that there's so many plots, it's that there's so many plots that are all bad. Everything is bad. Everything that they bring up is like, well, that's going to turn into something bad.
It's just too predictable too.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay, like, can you give me something else to be surprised
There's
about?
a problem here, there's a problem here, there's a problem here, there's a problem here.
The only thing I was surprised about was Weston being a double agent.
Yeah.
That I was like, wow, way to throw something new at us.
But I also didn't care about him. That's the thing. I love when characters backstab me, but I want to be emotionally invested first. I want to like the character and then feel like I was also backstabbed. Weston, I was like, okay, that guy, cool. You're in Russia. You're coming back. Like.
Kirkman
That's why it didn't
seemed the
affect
most
me.
betrayed by it. Like he was like, "Oh man,
Yeah.
my hero,
My friend, my hero.
And that's why I feel like you're not going to see him again because
Yeah,
it
it doesn't
There
matter.
was no stakes built to his
Yeah.
reveal as a double agent. But the ambassador, Ambassador Petrov, I think like we'll see him again when Tom gets to match wits with him again, and this time show that hey, I'm coming into this fully prepared this time.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to treat me like a chump.
I just want to point out that I just realized, thanks to Ariadne, is that
You and Ariadne are really hitting it off this
Dude,
episode.
It's great.
He found the one
Colin.
person who likes mega stuffed Oreos. Good job.
Hit him up at the only MC.
about
Get you
all-
guys
that's about
taking
all-
this conversation
that's about all
off
that
the air.
matters.
Get a little mega
no,
stuff
is that
date.
I had totally forgotten that the press secretary's name is Seth, which is also, you and I are on the panel for House of Cards, and that press secretary's name is Seth.
That is true.
And another spoiler, I'm not on that after show with you, but thanks.
Really?
No, I'm not.
We're on like 4, so
so awkward."
I swear you were on that with me. No, you're right. That is other people, but it is the same one.
That mega stuff's been going.
You know
to
what?
his
I'm
brain.
going to do a favor
job.
for Ivan because he keeps asking, Frank, did you get any 24 flashbacks with Atwood's dilemma?
Yeah, well, yeah. Like, what do you do now? Do you reveal to Hannah what the inside deal is? Do you kind of play like, oh, I got to keep it all to myself and try to figure it out on my own? I'm hoping. And more often than not, they always feel like the guy's got to keep it close to the vest and he doesn't tell anybody, and he's trying to make this happen on his own, and it doesn't work out.
As a big fish, he should know that job comes first.
Yeah, I mean, it's also
And the
you got-
resources that he has at his disposal, like it's not just you.
Yeah.
You have the FBI.
And you know, the one person for sure you can absolutely trust is Hannah. So let her in on that. Just make it so much easier on yourself to be able to have somebody else looking out for you on this.
Yeah, at least Hannah. I don't agree that he should tell everyone because
No.
you don't know who's really on your side at this point because they're restructuring the government. You don't know who's a spy in whatever department. But I think it is stupid that he's trying to handle it himself. I think he should like appeal to the president and tell him what's going on and like I'm going through this with my son because like when Kirkman found out later that they couldn't reach him because he was dealing with a personal incident,
made it seem
Why
it
different.
just
not
made
say
him look so bad. Like you
a
couldn't give
family
me answers.
emergency even? Why do you say like it made it sound so casual?
personal
Your
issue.
son went missing. It's like family emergency. It's a family emergency. It's
And
not even a
that's-
personal issue.
Yeah, and that's
So, like,
something
I'm
Kirkman
sick.
can relate to. Like, he cares about his son. He could have been like, oh, we'll do whatever we can, whatever resources necessary to help you. And then he could
Exactly.
have built a good rapport with him and be like, we need to speak in private, actually. I need to tell you this. Like, there were so many missed opportunities to get everything out there and get Kirkman on his side. It just, I don't know. I don't know if we're going to see that next week because it seems like next week's going to be all about Leo, but I think that's going to come full circle with Kirkman pressing Atwood, like, what's going on?
Well, yeah. I mean, I feel like Atwood should have left that office when McLeish was in there, immediately left there and like placed another call and said like, hey, I need to arrange another meeting with the president. Like, why was that another call set to like, hey, can I come in and talk to you like tomorrow or later this afternoon? I have some more information. He just went back to the office and said, I don't know what we're going to do, guys. We can't talk. Now, also Atwood and Hannah are also working on another angle. Hannah's got some contacts in the CIA, and so she reaches out to one of them to find out if they know anything about Catalan. And he kind of gives her the brush up, like, hey, you don't. The biggest help I can give you is just to stay away. I am doing you the best service possible by telling you you don't want to mess with this guy. He's a mercenary. He's also a traitor. So we figure that he's an American. And we find out that, when Hannah finds out what's happened to Atwood, she goes back to him and says, I need some help. I got to do everything I can to protect the people I love. And we have a nice little tense scene in the parking garage where she comes down and her car's ajar and there's a file in there. And find out that Catalan is actually the guy that poisoned Nassar's food. And she saw them as they were leaving the prison. He was coming out pushing that cart. That's her boy, Catalan. He got up close and personal with that death, man.
He was a young guy, too.
Yeah.
I was a little bit shocked on that. Is that he seemed like a young guy who's obviously in control of all of this.
I don't think.
But I don't think he's in control of all this. I think that's the name that that Nassar was given. I think there's definitely that's not like the highest power of
Be a
this.
pawn.
Yeah,
Maybe
totally
him
a
and
pawn.
You
And
think
that just
Catalan's
shows
a pawn?
Yeah, he's another mini boss.
100% because it doesn't. Here's the thing: if he was like the top of it all, we wouldn't have figured out this episode. I guarantee. There's a big twist coming in the finale, and
But the CIA really made it seem like he wasn't just a pawn.
but they don't know who is the higher up. So at probably with the information they're given, they probably think he's in charge of behind all of this, but it doesn't mean he is. They don't even know what this operation even is. They just know if it's an act of terror. They don't know who's involved. They don't know how many people are involved.
No, but I'm saying, like, when Hannah went to her source, he really reacted like, don't mess with this guy.
Because he's a really bad guy, but that doesn't mean there's a worse guy.
I think they also
girl.
just don't want her getting involved in their impending investigation because maybe he is like the second biggest fish leading to the bigger person behind all of this, and they don't want to spook him. You know, like
I think he's pretty high up.
Yeah, I think he's definitely high up, but he could or could not be the person that's behind everything.
I 100% don't think he's the top. He may be up there. He's 100% not the top.
He's not the top guy. He's a nice little mini boss, but he's got a lot. I mean, clearly, he made his way into a military prison and was able to kill the Tsar
He's
right
scary.
there. So,
I wouldn't mess with him. But McLeish is also really scary.
He's such a creep.
He's
like
so
his
creepy.
photo that was attached to the file. It was just like so.
I pointed out, if you're a
weird.
congressman, you have a smiling photo every single time. You don't have a photo like this. What kind of person would vote for you?
You come on.
Sociopath? I
I'd
don't
vote for
know.
you. Unless you did that.
Well, his
You know,
wife married him, so.
His fake wife.
Before this show's over, Michael Clouse has been tackling these mega stuffs. You've been doubling it up on it. Let's do a foursome right there.
Oh.
4?
Come on, Michael Clouse. Put your money where your mouth is.
I was actually going to do a threesome.
Now 4.
That
It's got to be 4.
sounds bad. I was going to do 3 Oreos before we left.
4. Hit it at 4.
4? Oh,
well,
wow.
Michael's
Really?
assembling
For
this.
those of you listening and not watching,
We're
that
just-
you're
not
on the
talk-
good side.
We're not talking about what you think we're talking about.
yeah,
Yeah.
we're talking about.
But what we do after the show is our own
This
business.
is a family show.
That's right. There you go.
I don't even know how to do a 4.
So now, of course, we find out that Atwood's child is missing, and Atwood's looking all
moving
around
parts.
for him. And we find out at the end, as he goes back to the softball or the baseball diamond to go talk to the coach, there's a woman out there that's stopping him on the way back, like, oh hello, hello. I've got a picture of I got a video of your son just enjoying coffee ice cream. The only kid I know likes
I
coffee ice
love
cream.
coffee ice
Good.
cream.
Oh, it's my
Coffee
least
ice cream.
favorite.
Coffee ice cream is one of my favorites. Faux
It's not
show.
my fave, but it's good.
I love it.
But he's just enjoying it and figures like, hey, I'm going to give you this phone, and you're going to arrange a face-to-face with Kirkman, and you're going to do everything that I instruct you to do. And you're not going to tell anybody, or else he's going to die, your wife's going to die a little time later. So get on board. And there you go.
This is really everyone's watching right now.
This is so great,
tough.
isn't it? Yeah.
This is not easy to do.
He's building a massive Oreo that should never be built.
Well, this, well, that's going to be great. So,
There it is. Okay.
Oh, you got it. There you go. It's going to be great.
You
You gotta show the
Frank,
camera.
Frank, I'm gonna see your 4. And I'm
No!
gonna go
Yeah, it's going to be great. I love it. All right.
That's disgusting.
Now, the other thing that we saw in this episode too is, I know we always kind of question like Aaron's course chief of staff, but we saw Em really stepping up in the last couple episodes with different ideas. She always seems to be like having like a nice little key idea to throw in these situations that Tom finds himself in, and she is the one that the proposal for the 3-way trade between Russia, Saudi Arabia, and the United States to get back Weston, even though it doesn't.
It's even
quite
worked
pan-
out terribly.
But I mean, no fault on her own. That was a good way of getting around that situation.
Yeah,
But
Emily's
unfortunately,
great.
it didn't work out.
They're a good pair, those two. They're a good balance.
You can
each
see
other
her
out.
character developing quickly. I
Yeah.
think she's like getting into the swing of things, and realizing just how this whole thing works and functions. And I think she's doing a good job.
Yeah,
I
but
get this for a snap?
I like her more in this mode. I like her less in the mode where she starts questioning, like, is Tom changing? Is Tom changing? So when
I
she's
know
more
that
like-
got
Yeah.
so old so fast.
And so, basically, we find out that, Weston is a double agent. He's staying in Russia. We're still on the fence about as to whether we're going to reveal Leo's true parentage to him. I feel like that's got to, at least from the trailer that we got for next week's episode, some kid on the street's going to blab it like, oh, hey, I hear your dad's not your real dad.
So, and that's the thing that I said while we were out there, is that even if you get him not to talk, get the reporter not to do the story because you're giving her another story, that's not getting rid of the issue.
Yeah.
The issue is still him. There's thousands of other reporters out there that he breaks the story to. Like, who cares? What are you trying to win over your honey? Like, she's already yours, bro.
Well, I guess they're just trying to delay the inevitable, I guess, so to speak. So, yes, so Seth does kind of trade her, like, hey, you squash this story about Leo and his potential father, and we'll give you all this information about Weston. And, I mean, that seems like the more cool story. And I do like Seth's speech to the reporter saying, hey, he's a stand-up guy. He's trying to do a lot of great things, and he's in a job that he didn't ask for, and everybody's gunning for him. And Leo's only 17, so he shouldn't have all this thrown in his face. for the public to deal with. I mean, they should do this more as a family matter. I agree with that.
Yeah, there are other really cutthroat reporters out there, though, who genuinely don't want to see him succeed, who I'm sure will catch wind of this story, because Leo's potential father knows the power that he has by, releasing this, and if it's not this reporter, it'll be the next.
Exactly.
And I think we all know that, including Seth. I think that the whole reason he did this was to just buy more time.
Yeah, you're right.
So we feel Jeffrey's deal is that he wants Alex and Tom, or especially Tom, to be able to give him pardon him with time served, so he can just basically take off for prison because he's got another few years for tax evasion. Now, you're Alex and you're Tom. You've got this dilemma thrown on you. What's your best way to handle it? Do you just tackle it directly, head on with the press? Do you first talk to Leo? Well, of course you got to talk to Leo first, bring him in on it, and then talk to the press. Kind of, so you basically take away all of Jeffrey's power.
When I get overwhelmed, I shut down. So I don't know what I would do.
You just
I just like lock myself in my room.
Oh, that's great. All right, cool. So we want you running our country.
Yeah.
Christine?
I would talk to Leo first. I feel like he needs to know. They need to diffuse that situation. He seems like the type to be easily manipulated. He's so emotionally charged when it comes to Kirkman. I feel like he could just be like, oh, like, why'd you lie to me? And, make it as bigger scene than it needs to be, even though I know it'll be a big scene anyway. So I say talk to Leo first. Do some damage control. Have, Alex maybe mediate that situation.
I don't know why they don't do the test. Because I was like, why are you doing the test? And then I thought they were going to do the test when Kirkman and his wife sat down, and it was like, oh, he's really making it sound like, I was afraid. Now I'm not afraid to take the test. Let's just do the test. And they can do the test without Leo knowing. You'd find a piece of hair. You don't have to.
Yeah, but you still have to, if it turns out that Jeffrey is the father.
Then if it does turn out, then you talk to him. Otherwise,
why stir it up?
Why stir it up? Like,
true. Yeah, because if Tom does turn out to be the father, he doesn't need to tell Leo anything. And if anyone says anything, be like, well, people are thinking this because your mom did this guy, and people are trying to create drama because we're now very public figures.
But I also think,
that's the logical way that things should happen. That doesn't happen that way on this show. It's like,
nope,
let's be emotional and not say anything.
He's not my dad.
But I also think the initial setup. So this happens 18 years ago. But they neither of them were married. She wasn't married to Jeffrey. They were dating, and then her and Tom were dating. So I mean, even though it's kind of very close to each other, I mean, there was nobody was cheating on one another. Yeah. So it just happened to be just. She got frisky, and the time was really close, so it could go either way. So I don't know. To you, does this seem like a huge scandal?
I mean, to the public, yeah. If it comes out,
I'm a political realist, so to me, no. To the general public, yes. It's juicy details happening inside the White House. Oh my goodness!
They already are like trying to get to know who he really is. Something like this coming out, being like, oh, he doesn't know his own home.
All you need is something. That's another spark, another log on the fire.
Oh man, guys, America, huh? We're the best.
Are we down for predictions yet?
I think we're down, guys. Yeah. This episode is let's just predict some stuff.
Your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
All right, Renee. We're leading into we're off next week. We're back 2 weeks after that, so back on the 30th. Yeah, for another hot
1 week after that.
Yeah,
it's only 2 weeks away.
There you go.
Wow.
Leading up to the winter finale. So what do you think is going to happen?
I think that Leo is going to hear the news next week and then be very upset. I also predict just overall that we're gonna, I stick with the backstab. We're going to be backstabbed by a character that we know dearly, and right now I have no idea who it is, but I know where it's gonna be a big twist where it's someone that's a big character in the show.
All right. Michael?
I say Leo finds out, runs away, and we never hear from him again. Oh, wait, no, that's just what I want to happen. I feel that just because of the way the show is going, I'm going to pick the way that it's probably going to go, in that Atwood keeps to himself, and it backfires. Because the normal thing to do would be to say something, and to try to rally the troops or, talk with whoever. It's going to backfire. Next episode, we're still not going to find out Kirkman's still not going to find out about McLeish. I say that's going to happen in the winter finale. So in 3 weeks, I think, is the winter finale, right? Or is 2 weeks for winter finale?
2 weeks we're back for another episode,
and then one more.
And then one more. So 3 weeks is going to be the hang on where we find out about McLeish. Yeah, that's what I got.
All right. Well, I think the next episode, aliens are going to fly in and attack.
I love it.
Because anything goes on this show, clearly. No, I think that I think Atwood's gonna screw up and not say something when he's supposed to. I think it's gonna work out some way that he has to step down, and that eventually it's gonna be up to Hannah Wells to kind of find a way. She's the only one who really has like the fight behind her. Clearly.
She'd get it done.
I think it's gonna be up to her to kind of just get things going. But as for everything else,
You go, girl.
Yeah, it's. I would like to think that the McLeish issue will be resolved by the time the winter finale hits, but I feel like it's just going to be. There's going to be a cliffhanger with the McLeish thing, and we're not going to find out until we come back. I think the McLeish thing's going to carry us over
ABC
until we come back in the winter with the new episodes of the Designated Survivor after show, and as well as new episodes of the series too. So, folks, that brings us to the end of this, I guess, super exciting show. But in the meantime, folks, you can like us on Facebook, give us those 5 stars on iTunes. If you want to subscribe to the YouTube channel, we'd love it. You can also hop in the chat. Thank you so much for everybody for hopping in the chat here. Renee, if they'd like to continue the conversation with you even after the show's over, where can they find you?
Hey guys, I'm Renee Ariel. You can follow me on Instagram and on Twitter at Renee Ariel, and check out my blog, catslipstickla.com.
And you can follow me on Instagram at TheOnlyMC, on Twitter at Clouse TV. We are live right now during the show. 5 mega stuffed Oreos.
Oh my word, it's
going down.
Oh.
Way to hide it from the camera.
Really good.
There you go. Only the people on Michael's phone get to see this, but that's cool.
I don't know how to follow that, but if you guys want to find me, you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Christine Bean with 3 E's.
It just gets better and better.
You can follow me on Twitter at EpicJackie, folks. We'll see you in a couple weeks with another episode of the Designated Survivor After Show right here on AfterBuzz TV.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later!
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.